We are going to look at the mapping dashboard in Vestige DMP today and the ways to monitor asset history, events, and current tracking information. On the mapping dashboard, we display information in multiple ways based on the selections and filtering choices made by the user. Currently, docked on the left-hand side of the screen is the information table, which is displaying a list of assets. Here we can sort these assets by name or the last message received from the device assigned to the asset. The last column is showing us how long since the last message was received in purple and how long since the last location was received in green. It's important to know the difference between a device that is not reporting at all and a device that is reporting but not able to get a GPS fix. This quickly shows us the difference. Next, we have the status icons, which indicate the status of the last report received. Here we see an icon for not moving on a personal tracking device. Next is a trailer that is indoors, letting us know it wasn't moving, but the location is historical. Last is a vehicle that is not moving with its ignition is off. Based on the asset type and the device, we have different icon schemes to support the unique functionality for each. We will talk about the asset information icon a little later. That is next to the status icon. And then we have the More menu with additional actions. Here we are going to ping the asset to make it report in its current location. This is sending an SMS to the device assigned to the asset requesting it to report its current location. The device acknowledges it received the message and then returns its location. This is beneficial for situations where you might not have devices reporting in as frequently as others, or only reporting in every 30 minutes or so when not moving, and you need to know where it is right now. The information table will have different filtering options depending on its contents. We can filter by asset groups to only display assets within a single group or multiple selected groups. Note that the table updates as well as the map. We can hide and show individual assets on the map with the checkboxes along the left-hand side of the asset list. Again, note that the responsiveness of the map to display only what is selected in the list. Along the main toolbar of the mapping dashboard, we have additional filtering, which filters both the information table and the map at the same time. Here we can filter by an asset's name or a device assigned to an asset, and the results are dynamically displayed. Next, we have controls for the docking of the information table. It is currently docked to the left. We can hide it altogether and only display the map. Dock it back to the left. We can dock it to the bottom of the screen, where we can now show additional information because of the added width of the table. Description, location, speed are all displayed now for each asset. We can also show the table full screen if you are not concerned with viewing the data on the map. In the mapping area, we are using Google Maps and all the tools you are familiar with. We display icons on the map based on the same icon status shown in the table, with labels that have the asset name and speed. On hover, we show additional information, the duration the asset has been in this state, and the address of the location. There are a couple of trailers that are fixed assets and haven't moved in 78 and 74 days. This is indicated on the hover. You will see clustering on the map when the zoom level is high enough that multiple assets should be grouped together as a single icon, with a number indicating how many are within that cluster. Clicking on the cluster would zoom in and expand that cluster. There are multiple ways to navigate the map. Here, let's zoom in only on the box trailer. I'm going to do so by deselecting everything else in the table and only selecting the box trailer. The map zooms in to fit only that asset in view. We can change from map to satellite and also use the Google Guy to see a street view of the area. Here you can pan, zoom, and move through the streets. You can pan and zoom on the map as well to navigate the map by clicking and dragging on the map, using the plus and minus sign at the bottom right corner to zoom in and out, or scrolling with a mouse wheel or touchpad. Another set of map controls are along the top of the map. Centering the map will zoom to fit and center all items currently selected in the information table. Changing the map refresh rate is done by selecting a rate from the drop-down, and next to it you can see the countdown and pause and resume the map refresh. The last icon is Lock Map. Locking the map keeps your position and zoom level from changing when the map refreshes if you do not want it to. We automatically lock the map as you start panning and zooming the map. Clicking on the slider locks and unlocks the map. Just below the mapping dashboard main toolbar are tabs. The tab we have been working with has been the Tracking tab, and now we are going to switch to the Events tab. This changes the data we are going to view in the same information table on the map. Here we see only events being shown. Events are generated by the rules engine in Vestige DMP and are the result of many different rules that a user can define. On the map, we see the location of an event and details about the event name, the icon, and its location upon hover. In the information table, instead of seeing a list of assets, we see a list of events based on a time frame instead of the last report. We can change the time frame we are looking at from the date range control from last 24 hours, last 72 hours, or any specific date in the past. We see the map in the table update showing all events that occurred on the 9th of March 2017. Clicking on the blue cluster of events shows zoom the map and shows us the 2 locations that events occurred within that cluster. Let's filter the events list by selecting only one event type to view. Selecting only the motion start events that were generated by one of the assets only displays those events that occurred during the time frame we have selected. Just like the assets before, we can select individual events to control what is displayed on the map. Each event selected will be displayed, and we can select any combination of events from the list to be displayed on the map. The map will show each event's icon and automatically adjust the view to show all items selected. The map will cluster as necessary based on the zoom level, just as we saw on the Tracking tab. We can also filter out groups we do not want to see results for. Filtering along the mapping main toolbar works on the Events tab as well. Note that the text we are filtering for shows no results. This is because the Events filter has already filtered out any events that had the text we are searching for. Viewing all events and applying the same filter will now provide the results we are looking for. Earlier we saw the information icon. We see it again here next to the event in the table. Going back to the Tracking tab, we will click on one of the information icons to see the history for an asset during a set time frame. Here we see for the last 24 hours. Viewing the history for another asset, we will change the time frame to a specific date. The asset we are going to select is a vehicle that had multiple trips on March 28, 2017. We can pick that date from the date picker across the top of the Asset History dialog. The results show all the historic locations and their associated data sorted by date. Here we have a total of 524 records for this date. It's showing all the different statuses: movements, stops, ignition ons and offs, device battery level, asset voltage level, speed, locations, and times, as well as the time zone that the asset was in. Across the top, we have an additional tab for History of Events for the same time frame. This asset didn't have any events, so let's go find an event from the map that we were looking at earlier. Let's pick the heartbeat events we viewed before. This will filter the table and map. Clicking on the information icon will bring up the asset history for this asset tied to this event. We see a list of events that occurred for this asset on this day, as well as the details of the event and who was notified of the event email. All of the event details were generated by the rules engine dynamically when the event occurred. The mapping dashboard in Vestige DMP is designed to provide a user various types of information without being overwhelming to the user and have a consistent set of controls, regardless of what data types you are viewing. Any further questions regarding this or any other topics, please see our other resource videos or contact support@vestigegps.com.